Hello, friends. My name is Austin Randolph, and we're doing something different today because for the first time, a company sent me a guitar to review. Before we begin, if you guys could do me a favor, if you like what I do, if you like the sound of my voice, feel free to subscribe. You know, it's the thing that everybody says. It costs you nothing, and it means a lot to me. So if you could do that, or if you are a big fan of the swipey apps, not the dating ones, but if you could follow me on TikTok, that would be lovely. I try to put stuff out there every day. But we're talking about a very cheap guitar, a new company, new cheap guitar. So let's talk about it. So about a week ago, I got an email from a guy named Michael at a company called Fesley Guitars. New company out of China, primarily selling on Amazon right now, from what I can tell. And he wanted me to make a video, so they sent me this. And I guess first impressions, not bad. I mean, you'll probably notice in the title of this, it's kind of making me ask the question, like, if you're just getting into playing guitar and you're into rock, metal, you know, the why people typically get into playing guitar, do you necessarily have to go like the Epiphone route to get into a single cut style guitar like this? And that is the question that I think we're going to kind of like wrap up the video with, kind of getting back to like, is this a legitimate choice for your first guitar if you're shopping for like low entry point? Starting at the top. Headstock shape. It kind of reminds me, weirdly enough, of I have an old Alvarez acoustic from the 90s down in the basement somewhere. Kind of reminds me of that. Super simple shape. On the back, your tuners are nondescript tuners, but they are they're metal, but they're the tulip shape that you associate with a certain other brand. They seem like they work. They do their job fine. Actually, it holds tune fine. You have a black nut. You have a nondescript material fretboard, but it's dark, so that's good. You have your hollow rings for your, instead of blocks, instead of the trapezoids, you have a open pore. One moment while I try to get the sun to work for me. There, you can kind of see it. You have an open pored, kind of satiny finish on the back of the neck. The neck is D, like a modern D. So anything similar to, feels very much like a brand whose name is 3 letters and it starts with an E. It's comfortable, it's thin, it's shreddy. It is The frets are nice and big. You have 22 medium jumbo frets. Scale length is the same as you'd find on most single cut style guitars, so 24 3/4. Body is satin, neck is bolt on, but honestly, these screws are like recessed in the body. They feel good. They don't poke ya. They don't like catch on your hand if you're running it. They're recessed into the body. It feels good. You will notice there is no third cavity on the back of here. That is because even though these look like active pickups, they are not active pickups, which is a good thing. When you're just starting out playing, I don't think you need another mechanical, technical, whatever you want to call it thing to worry about with your gear. And active pickups require a power supply in the back, so like a battery. This isn't that. These are passive pickups. They just did the matte black thing to look cool, and you know, it's the metal guy look, man. You have a single cut guitar. You have volume, tone, three-way switch up here, and weird observation. The switch feels good. Like, I haven't gotten to the part yet. This is $160 on Amazon. Let me repeat that. $160. So, like a week's worth of groceries. And bear that in mind while I'm going through the rest of this. And back to the switch. Feels good. Feels like a firm, clicky switch, which I'm not trying to make a big deal out of it, but a lot of times when you're manufacturing at this price point, where you can afford to do that is by getting kind of like, you know, the worst electronics you can. But no, this switch feels good. The knobs feel good. They're that, there you go. The kind of almost Telecaster-y style knobs. So they're grippy, metal grippy though, so it's nice. Weight, I don't have a weight off the top of my head, but it feels, I mean, it's light. I would say like 7.5 pounds, maybe, something like that. You heard how it sounds, and you know, it's interesting because I don't normally make videos at this price point. Obviously, I don't normally shop at this price point. So I'm trying to look at this through the lens of if I was like 13 years old all over again, and I got this instead of what my first guitar actually was, would I have had a better experience my first couple years playing? And I think the answer is a resounding yes. So, I forgot to mention, there's no binding on the neck, by the way. The binding on the body is just painted on, just so you know. And I forgot to talk about the fret ends. I don't even know. See, that's the thing about making a video like this. I don't know if the people I'm talking to in this video know about fret ends or care about fret ends, but fret ends, what you're referring to is your frets, how they cut them and file them at the edge of the fretboard. Sometimes if it's done hastily or on the cheap, you will get, you'll feel a little sharpness as you're running your hands up and down the neck. It can just be a little uncomfortable, but these frets actually feel pretty good. I mean, it looks like they were done pretty well. They don't really feel sharp. Setup out of the box, pretty decent. I mean, the action's a little high because it got off a boat and then showed up at my door. So the humidity here versus like mainland China is different. So what I always tell people, especially if you're shopping at this price point, is always factor in like $100 for taking it to a guitar shop and having it set up, and like $8 for a new pack of strings, because the strings that come on these, they leave something to be desired. But you know, that's something that you should do with every guitar, or watch a bunch of YouTube videos, figure out how to adjust your neck truss rod without breaking it. Be careful. Setup out of the box is okay though. Like for the price point, I was kind of astounded that the intonation was actually pretty good, and how it sounds, because the pickups, they're passive pickups, which is a plus for me, and they're really not bad. I mean, I'm looking at the pickup height that these are set at. They're pretty good. I didn't really have to tweak them at all. It's they're not they're hotter is what I would say. They're hotter than what I typically play, but they seem like we're not talking Gibson custom shop here. We're not talking a, $800 set of pickups or 5 or whatever they're charging nowadays. But they're really decent, man, for for just like a set of humbuckers right out of the box. At the price point, they're decent little pickups. The cleans are very in your face and forward. Like I said, they're on the hotter side. And if you're into the chugga chugga stuff, yeah, works great. And so I'm assuming if you're buying this, it's your first guitar. You get a little tag on here with your very basic open chords, and what they are, called cowboy chords. In your little gig bag, you get a guitar cable. You get a little Allen wrench to adjust your truss rod. And man, outside of an amplifier, and I don't even know if kids use amplifiers nowadays or if everybody's doing plugins, but if I opened this up when I was 13 years old and I was way into Green Day back in the day, I'd be thrilled. And this thing could jam out playing some Green Day, and I would be much happier than what I spent the first 8 years playing. And so back to the question of, you're into whatever the kids are listening to nowadays, but you're heavier rock, metal-y stuff. Creed's even cool again. So maybe you're way into Creed and you want to start playing guitar, or your kid wants a guitar, and what do you get them? Well, in the past, it's always been you go Epiphone, get a SG or Les Paul, one of the more entry ones. And because they're making the affordable Gibson version, they have to make the expensive ones, the mid-range ones, and then their starter, right? This is kind of doing its own thing. What I mean is that they don't necessarily have to price everything in a linear way as you go up the models, because I think there's only 2 models that these guys make. I mean, they're brand new. Do you need to go Epiphone? I don't think so, man. I think there's enough competitors now in the starter guitar market, just like these guys that got a hold of me, that I don't think it's necessarily as set of a path when you're just starting or buying your kid their first guitar or whatever. You don't necessarily need to go the legacy manufacturers anymore, because this thing, I mean, is it remarkably amazing? Is my mind blown? No. But I just keep coming back to $160, man. That's like nothing nowadays. And for an instrument that plays and the neck feels comfortable and it stays in tune and the pickups sound okay, I think that's super cool that you can do that nowadays. So the goal of this really is not a better or worse kind of a thing, but more so to inform. Everybody that is shopping for their first guitar has so many choices right now, but if you're shopping on the lower price range end of things, I don't know how you beat this, man. I gotta be honest. Huge thank you to these guys for sending me this, and Michael for getting a hold of me. It was cool. It's a manufacturer getting a hold of you for the first time. And for $160, I think that the Fesley is a brand worth checking out. So until next time, everybody, take care.